12:21. Welcome back, Doug Padgett Radio. Your man of constant sorrow today. Religious radio that's not quite right, with a little description of the Christian calendar. Some of you may not know, because if you don't keep up on the fancy separate calendar the Christian churches keep, you might say to yourself, you know what today is? Today's March 6th.
Yeah.
That might be as much as as much as is important to you. Or some of you might say, oh, you know what? It's a Sunday, and you know that that's a weekend and is a day off. And some of you might say, Wednesday, March 9th, well, that's an important day because that's the day that I've got my dental cleaning. That's the day, I'm taking my car into the shop, right? Yeah. That's the day that I'm going to be paying that bill that I pay to the water department. You might have an important day like that. You may not know that this Wednesday, March 9th, is Ash Wednesday. It's the start of one of the big Christian holidays, one of the big Christian seasons. The Christianity tends to take two big seasons in pop culture that are recognized. There's 7 or 8 or 9 kind of big Christian holidays, but most people, unless you're an observant of one of these, you don't pay attention to. But the general culture pays attention to two big seasons. One is Advent, and that leads up to Christmas. Okay, it's the days before Christmas. Then there's one that leads up to Easter, and this Wednesday marks the start of the Lenten season. And Lent is get a load of this now. Christianity gets a little complicated. You almost need a spreadsheet to keep track of this stuff. This Wednesday marks the start of the Lent season, which is 46 days before Easter. But in the Christian calendar, it only counts as 40 days. So you might say to yourself, well, how can you have a 40-day season that actually lasts 46 days?
There's like math in religion now. I mean,
yeah, it's like going to an elementary school music concert. That somehow it's actually taking longer than the amount of time that's going by on your
nailed that. That's so
going
true.
By on your clock. So you think I've been here for 40 minutes, but it really took 46 minutes of my life somehow. Well, the same thing happens in Lent, and here's why: because Lent runs over the course of 7 weeks, 6.5 weeks, and what's not counted in the 40-day festival of Lent.
What's that?
Sundays. In 325, when Easter was established by the Christian councils, that we would celebrate Easter on an official day. And that official day, if you've ever wondered when Easter is going to be, because Easter is one of those movable holidays that moves around all the time. Well, Easter is, in 325, it was established by the Nicene Creed as the first Sunday after the full moon following the Northern Hemisphere's vernal equinox.
Is it any wonder why no one's signing up for this?
Isn't it unbelievable?
This Christianity?
Isn't it unbelievable? Like, when is Christmas? It's always December 25th. Easy enough. When's Easter?
Wow.
Well, it's going to be...
Let's roll the wheel.
It's going to be the first Sunday after the full moon following the Northern Hemisphere's vernal equinox.
So now you got to be like an astrologer to...
Yeah. Okay. It's unbelievable, right? So Easter's a movable holiday.
Okay.
So Lent, the time of preparation before Easter. Now, here's the good thing that Christianity was doing in the early centuries, is they said, Easter's a really big deal. Let's not let it sneak up on us, because it's going to be all over the place. We don't know when it's going to.
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah. It's all over the place. So what you want to do is you want people to be able to prepare themselves for it. So if you don't follow the observance of Lent, you might not know that some of your counterparts in your life are observing Lent. So this Wednesday, they'll start with an Ash Wednesday service. That's the start of Lent, which will culminate in Easter, which is the 24th of April this year.
Why ash? What does that mean?
Okay, so here's what they do on the ashes. They take the ashes. If you go to one of these ashen services, one of these Ash Wednesday services, and you'll see churches all of a sudden be full on Wednesday, and you'll be driving down the street and you'll say to yourself, what are all the people doing over at the church? Is there a funeral at every church today? It's not a funeral. It's preparation for a funeral.
Ooh.
Here's what you do. Oh. They take the ashes and they smear them on your forehead in the sign of a cross, as if ashes to ashes and dust to dust. So you remember your own mortality.
Wow.
So you remember your own death in preparation for the resurrection that will come at Easter. So it's a nice sort of idea. And the thought around all of this is that you take the palm branches from Palm Sunday, which is the Sunday before Easter, from last year.
Oh.
You save those. You let them dry. You burn them. then you mix them with a little oil, and that's where the ashes should come from for Ash Wednesday. If you're a real traditionalist, so if you go to get your Ash Wednesday, be sure to ask the priest or the minister who's putting it on. Say, are these
official?
local? Are these local? Did these come from last year? Because I'm only wanting the ones that really come from last year, because that's how we do it around here.
Yeah,
that's how we roll.
So
you get this mark on that day.
So what denominations do this? Everybody?
All the liturgical ones do it. The ones who don't do it are the Anabaptist folks. Yeah, that would be the tradition that I would sort of most groove with. Mm-hmm. They tend not to have any of those big holidays at all. Now there's some Christian traditions that don't celebrate any of these holidays whatsoever. Yeah. They just keep them all on the down low. But any of the sort of big churches that you'd see around, they've been around for 100 years. They're all doing this stuff. Okay. So there's these ashen services.
Can anybody go in and get their ash on?
Well, you would think so. But not in some places. Oh. Some places you have to be there. You have to be an insider. Okay. Yeah, religion's a little confusing. It's not evenly applied. Mm. Any of these rules, they tend to be different everywhere you go.
It's not always open source.
So on Wednesday, if you're at work and you see somebody that's got a little smudge.
Okay, so you don't just wipe it off.
Most people don't want you wiping it off. They want you to leave it on. So you'll see somebody with a little smudge. And I'm telling you, it'll happen this Wednesday. It'll happen to a listener. They'll look at somebody and they'll say, hey, you got a little something on your forehead. And the guy will go, yeah, I was at the Ashen service. And then they try to explain what Lent is. Well, Lent is a 46-day preparation period that really only takes 40 days because you don't count Sundays, getting you ready for Easter. In some traditions, they would welcome all new believers on Easter.
Okay, that sounds cool.
That's sort of the start of the new life, right? So they would welcome new people in, and they would start people into their new life that day. Well, the other thing that folks do on Easter or on Lent is they prepare themselves for Easter by giving up something important to them. So they would give up meat in a culture in which meat was a luxury. They would give up meat on Fridays. This is why, starting this week, McDonald's is going to have a great deal on Fridays on their fish sandwich.
Their McFish.
Helps the Catholics and the others who customarily give up meat. So you'll see some people who will be giving up things for Lent. Now, in some cultures, and especially, in the past when religion played a very powerful cultural role, people were sort of compelled by cultural sensibility that they would give up something for Lent. So that developed a counter movement. Oh. The day before Ash Wednesday, the day before Lent starts, where you're going to come to grips with your mortality and you're going to start giving up things over a 46-day period of 40 days to prepare yourself for Easter. People said, let's have a raging party the day before Ash Wednesday, and that day is called Fat Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So this Tuesday is Fat Tuesday. So you're going to see specials in bars, Fat Tuesday specials. You're going to see chili cook-offs over at the local church on 46 in Blaisdell. We do a fundraiser over there for chili cook-off on Fat Tuesday. It's the start of Mardi Gras. Yeah. It's the Mardi Gras week. It's the big celebration down in New Orleans. They got it all going on. So you get this wonderful little mix of the cultural pushback to the religious implication that you should give things up by having a day of excess the day before. So that all starts this week.
Wow.
You're going to see it happen. You're going to see Mardi Gras. You're going to see Fat Tuesday. You're going to see Ash Wednesday. All of that is preparation, bringing you up to Easter, 46 days from Wednesday.
What have we gotten ourselves into?
There it is. Hey, you think we've made Easter understandable? Now we're going to make Wisconsin's financial problems understandable when we come back here on Doug Padgett Radio, broadcasting live out of the Twin Cities on AM 950. You can keep up on all this over at DougPadgettRadio.com and Facebook.com/Doug Padgett, where there's links to everything we talk about. We'll be back after this with John White.
Come see